Well, I'm going to talk about research in social science and humanities, the contribution of hermeneutics to the study of Portugality. In this communication, Portugality is presented as a practical case of my PhD investigation based fundamentally on hermeneutics. In conclusion, I define Portugality as an essentialism of the Portuguese dictatorial regime called Estado Novo, coined in the 50s and 60s of the 20th century. The objective was underlined that Portugal was a single indivisible country, embodied in the slogans that Portugal is not a small country, Portugal from Minho to East Timor, which was in vogue at the time. The idea of the dictatorship was emphasized to the United Nations that the overseas provinces, colonies, were part of Portugal, alleged an historical destiny at a time when independence movements were emerging in the former colonies and the colonial liberation war was raging. In social science and humanity, it is not very common to use a single methodology, but rather composite methodologies, usually with an approach that I did in this study. Michel Foucault, for instance, mentioned that whenever necessary, the researcher should use the methodology toolbox to develop his work. Well, when analyzing the Portuguese Parliament databases regarding the use to the word Portugalidade in the deputies appeared only in 1951, and the databases was between 1935 and 1974. It was only, as I said, in April of 1951, after the changes in the Colonial Act, that deputies began to use the word Portugalidade, which had never happened before. Why? Well, to validate the idea that Portugal was not a small country, going from Minho to East Timor, thus combating the independence movements that were raging in the former colonies and establishing a position with the United Nations for this situation, at the same time having in mind Portugal's accession to the organization, the UN. Hermeneutics presupposes exhaustive readings and comparisons and development of possible new theories resulting from them, as well as calling for other types of interpretation of the world, with the help, for example, of other qualitative methodologies such as content analysis. Well, to this end, I intended to it so in relation to the text itself, but also so the establishment of comparisons between texts, promoting the reading of hypothetical common points and alleged divergences of perspective, contextualizing them. Um, in contemporary times, many Portuguese politicians use the word Portugalidade to emphasize what Portugal is, a kind of brand with designation of origin. The danger is that without contextualization, an ideology developed in Portuguese fascism can be validated. Portugalidade as and linked with nationality and xenophobia, and it must always be prudent to the current appropriations that are made. It is so necessary to decolonize knowledge. Thank you very much.